Now, first things first, the new 8 Series has actually got some huge shoes to fill, because this car succeeds the legend that was the E31 8 Series, which launched in 1989 and stayed in production all the way till the end, or almost till the year 2000. Now, that original 8 Series was a gorgeous car to look at. It was everything done right by BMW design back in the day, and it was by far one of the best looking BMWs, not just in that day, but even till today, even till this day. And on top of that, the car came with some brilliant engines that went all the way up to a 5.6 litre V12, the very same V12 that became base for the 12-cylinder engine in the McLaren F1. Now, back then BMW did plan for an M version of the 8 Series E31, but they actually never got around to making one. Now, with this new G15 8 Series that BMW launched in 2018, the company has planned to go all out by launching the M8 as well as the M8 competition versions in quick succession. So now with this new 8 Series, we can finally drive and we can finally experience what the M division can do with the 8 Series cars. Hello and welcome to Bichao, and this is the 2020 BMW M8. Now, I think that the BMW M8 is actually a very good looking car. It has all the right proportions for becoming a Grand Tourer. It's long, it sits low, and it sits slightly wider, and I think this is the best proportioned BMW car that they have currently in their lineup. Now, the first thing you notice when you try getting inside the M8 is how long and how big these doors are. Inside, you're greeted with a very high-tech feeling cockpit that has a large central infotainment touchscreen and a lot of buttons and a cool looking mini display that shows the climate control settings. But you have to come down all the way to the bottom of the center console, where you would find the buttons that matter most on an M-powered car. And the amount of permutations and combinations that you can make over here with these M mode buttons and the rest of the powertrain settings is absolutely incredible. To start off, there's the M mode button, which sort of puts the BMW M8 into its sport settings. When you go into M mode, the digital driver's display changes to a more targeted one, where the rev counters are now on both sides of the center. In this setting, the DSC and the four-wheel drive system is still on, but at the same time it's a little less intrusive. Below that, over here is the setup button, and this setup button actually works like an equalizer to tune your car, where you can tune everything from the engine, the chassis, the steering and the brakes and its four-wheel drive system. There's also a switchable exhaust button over here, which you can turn on when you want people to know that you're going fast, and you can turn it off when you want to go under the radar and quickly fly low but really fast. This button is especially handy while doing cold starts, because in the morning the M8 is actually quite loud. Also, over here on the gear lever, you have 3 settings for the aggressiveness of the transmission, where it goes from being quick on overtakes to being absolutely testing your neck muscles on level 3. The third setting on the gearbox is also important when it comes to launch control. We're going to get back to that later. So I'm going to try showing you how to fit into the back seats of the BMW M8. It is quite a tight place to be, but I am going to be as objective and try doing this for you guys. What you got to do is you have to pull this lever on the front seat. As soon as you push it forward, it will automatically whir ahead slowly, but it does do the job where you don't have to do anything. And then you kind of gracefully try getting in over here. I am 5'8" and I cannot keep my head straight back over here. That's the amount of space you get. Ah! The car is crushing me. Okay, I have literally... Okay, hang on. I have literally no leg room. I cannot keep my foot flat on the floor because the seat is pushed so far back that it is sort of kind of in the middle of my crotch. This quarter panel is not even big enough for me to understand which road or which direction we are heading into. Yeah, this is, I would say, maximum 10 or 15 minutes is what I could probably manage sitting in here, nothing more than that. So yeah, in overall, I think the BMW M8's rear seats are more for carrying small kids. Maybe I don't think even small kids will fit over here. They're just going to be used to carry stuff which you throw back here to, you know, quickly head out. Maximum. Alright, so that's the back seats of the BMW M8. Not a good place to be. I'm not sure if you can be in here. Oh. Now, coming to drive the BMW M8. Now, this being a proper M car, things are actually quite stiff, and that's the first thing you notice when you start off in the M8. And the reason behind its stiffness is, of course, because this is a proper M car and not a M badged spin-off. And what they've done is they've created a bespoke multi-link suspension setup at the rear. Now, if you see the M8 from below, it actually gets an incredible amount of bracing just to increase the rigidity and stiffness of this chassis. The M division has also worked on the anti-roll bars. They've also worked on the bushings. They've also worked on the mountings on this car. That means that everything is extra stiff, everything is extra stiff, and everything is insanely precise to a point. On everyday driving in city as well as highway use, on regular speeds, the M8 setup is decent. It's not that bad, it's not supercar bad, but it is definitely on the stiffer side. But at the same time, it is decent in the way it manages bad roads and in the way it manages these undulated wavy roads that we have over here, where even on the highway you keep jumping up and down all over the place. Now, weirdly, in here there are also two settings for the brakes. I'm not sure it works all the times, because sometimes you actually forget what mode you're driving on and you press on the brake and suddenly you get a very different reaction than what you were expecting, because the brakes are either on sport mode and you press it as comfort and you smash on the brakes and you either brake too hard or you brake too late. Now, apart from the M buttons on the center console, there are two more buttons that are very important. You'll find those two buttons on the steering wheel, which is the M1 and the M2. So for example, for me, I have kept the M1 button for whenever I want the car to be in two-wheel drive mode and I want to get the tail out a little bit for a slide, and I've kept the M2 button for the launch control. BMW has kept it relatively easy, where what you need to do is a couple of steps. First, you need to press the DSC off, put the gearbox on manual and shift it to its fastest setting, and then you're ready. Foot down on brake, mash the throttle. And that was the power of a 4.4 liter V8 that puts out 600 horsepower and 750 Newton meters of torque. And none of that torque is wasted in any sort of wheel spin, because all of it is exclusively used to keep the wheels in grip and sort of launch you at an insane pace. While I was filming the launch, my phone, which was sitting here in the center console, flew all the way back to the rear seats. That is how violent the launch control on this car is. I mean, this car is going to go from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in some 3.2 seconds. And then if you keep accelerating, it will cross 200 kilometers per hour in just 11 seconds. Madness! We are now reaching a tunnel. You know what that means? Dropping the glasses a little down, dropping a few gears and doing a sound check. Did you hear that? It's nice. It's loud. It's kind of subtle. It's not that loud. Of course, because of the new norms, the new sound regulations, the new emission regulations, this car is loud, but it's not ear-bleeding loud as how, you know, V8s from 10-15 years ago used to be. That said, it's quite decently loud. But the best part is just about how this car accelerates, man. There is endless torque. The car just keeps pulling and keeps pulling and keeps pulling. It never runs out of breath. Generally, what I have noticed in quite a lot of turbocharged cars is that you have a little bit of turbo lag when you start. You have a nice meaty mid-range, and then the car sort of starts running out of steam when you reach the top end or the higher revs. With this car, with the M8, there is nothing like that. There is torque low down. There is insane amounts of torque in the mid-range, and even at the top end, this thing does not run out of breath. There is so much of performance on hand, no matter what you're doing, no matter which gear you are, and no matter what kind of circumstances or what setting you have the car in. Overtaking on the highway in this car is not a task, it's a wish. You wish you want to overtake something, done. On the highways also, this car can do some incredible pace when covering up distances, and it's going to be in relative comfort, because Over here inside, everything feels nice and luxurious. I am surrounded by great quality materials. I'm surrounded by a very well done interior. Build quality of the interior, the fit and finish is absolutely incredible. Now taking the M8 through some corners. And despite today being actually fairly heavy when it comes to rain, this car keeps out on good amounts of grip. I'm being quite brutal with the throttle, and even despite having a damp surface, the M8 grips quite well. The four-wheel drive system is working quite well in terms of sending power to all four wheels, making sure that I have the amount of traction that I need. It's not just that though, because along with the grip that's coming from the four-wheel drive, the electronics and the tires, the steering itself is also quite fast and accurate. It's not as fast as, let's say, the M4 that I drove. The M4 was more of a street and track focused car. This is more of a long distance grand tourer. So the steering is not that urgent. In fact, even the aggressiveness of the gearbox is not that much in comparison to the M4. It is slightly less aggressive compared to the M4, and that's a good thing. Again, because this is a grand tourer, there is absolutely no body roll. Of course, you don't expect any sort of body roll when you're talking about how an M car handles and how M car's suspensions are set up. Before entering the corner, the brakes give you that actual bite which you need to, position yourself into the next corner. In the middle of the corner, when you're powering out, there is no turbo lag, which means that you can immediately get back onto the power and you can sort of carry some crazy speeds as you're exiting. This is a very special car. This is a very special car. This is a very fast, incredibly fun, and a very special car. The way this thing deals with undulations on the road, it's actually pretty nice, because even after having such a stiff suspension setup, you give it a road where there are undulations, the suspensions mitigate the vertical travel of the car substantially to a big, huge amount. And what that does is it keeps the car stuck to the ground. That said, this car is still heavy and it's close to 2 tons. It's 1950 kgs, which is very close to 2 tons. And even after being a 2-ton car, it kind of hides its weight very nicely. It also sort of wraps itself around the driver, where you don't sort of feel the size of the car, you don't feel the length, the width and the girth of this car, because this is 5 meters long. It's actually quite a long car. There's so much of power that at any given moment, if you are on two-wheel drive and you are a little careless with the throttle, it is going to break traction. So what do I think of the BMW M8? I think that the BMW M8 is one of the best looking BMWs currently out there. It's got the right amount of luxury, performance, tech, while at the same time offering a weapon of an engine underneath the bonnet and some really good electronics to go along with it. And the way it looks and the kind of street presence this car has, it's going to for sure turn a lot of heads all the time, everywhere you go. Most of the times people are going to be a little surprised that this is actually a BMW. This car has way more performance, way more power and way more capability than what any of us will ever come close to using it on regular public roads. On the track, yes, you could probably push this car way further. So the BMW M8 I think is going to be kind of a perfect car for someone who's mostly commuting short distances in the city. In the meantime, sometimes, having a couple of highway runs every now and then. But most importantly, he's the kind of person who loves to take his car on the track and makes a point that his cars go to the track at least 3 to 4 times in an entire year. And that is the sort of person who I think would be the perfect match for the BMW M8. And that is where I also have a little bit of a doubt. The price bracket and segment in which the M8 sits is actually a very competitive bracket, or it's a very competitive space where some really good marks and some really good brands show their presence. And I'm not so sure if someone spending so much of money on a BMW, what his expectations would be in terms of getting exclusivity, in terms of getting that bespoke build and that bespoke feel. It has the capability, it has the potential, it has, I would say, even better performance than some of its rivals. but it sits in a price and a segment where you have cars like the Porsche 911, you have the Jaguar F-Type, the V8, you have the Aston Martin Vantage, you have the Mercedes AMG S63. So you've got some serious cars and some serious brands and some serious badges sitting in this price range where BMW is trying to compete. And I'm not exactly and entirely sure if this car carries over that exclusivity. It definitely carries over the performance, it definitely carries over that capability and that sense of pure driving pleasure. It definitely carries that over, without a doubt. But I'm just not sure if anybody would want to choose a BMW when they have an option to choose a 911 or an Aston Martin. What I'd say is that for those who know and those who love their BMWs, this is a great car to have. This is an absolutely fantastic car to have, which will hang out and even exceed your expectations when you're hanging with cars in that segment and that class. And if that's the case, then the BMW M8 is a smashing car to own and an incredibly smashing car to drive. I hope you like this video. I'm gonna see you back in the next one. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. I hope to see you back in the next one. Until then, ciao.